Hey, let's make a shadow puppet.
It's our time with Mr. Mayberry. Hey, let's get creative.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, Mr. Mayberry.
Today I'm going to show you how to make a shadow puppet. For this project I used a black piece of cardstock. You could also use poster board, or you could even use construction paper, but it's good to have a black piece because it won't, when you press it against the screen, you'll just see the shadow or the outline of the character that you make. Also, I used 2 popsicle sticks or tongue depressors, the wide kind. You could use a narrower kind if you'd like. This is just what happened to be what I had on hand. And then also I used a small brass fastener. You might need multiple ones of these if you do something that has a lot of moving parts. But for today, what I am going to show you how to do, we just need one. I've also used masking tape and a white color pencil. Now you could use a white crayon as well, but that was to draw the character out. And we're doing a profile of a person, which is a side view. And so that's going to be our puppet, and it does have the moving mouth. Now for the puppet stage, what I used for that was I took a cardboard box. This one just happened to have the bottom already cut out. If you're going to cut out the bottom, I would have an adult help you with that because you'll need a knife that's going to be sharper than what you probably should be using by yourself. So you cut out the bottom of the box, and then I covered it with just white drawing paper. You want to go ahead and tape that tight with masking tape. And you can use this either direction. You'll need a light source then to put behind it. I just use this desk lamp, and it makes a good light source that you can put behind the box. And then whenever you press up against the screen, you'll see the shadows. And you could turn it horizontal this way. It would give you more room to put on a puppet show with different characters. Also, something else you might think about using, if you could use a larger box, of course, but also something if you have on hand just an old picture frame, you could use that and put paper in the frame, and then that's where that would be used for your screen to show the puppets. If you want a larger space than that even, you could use just a bed sheet and stretch it across a doorway or across some chairs, but it has to be something that can be fastened down so that it's tight, so when you press the puppets up against it, it's not going to fall over or come down very easily. Well, now it's time to get started, so let's make some art. Okay, the first thing I did for this project in preparation was to plan out what I was going to do. It's always good, especially when you're using materials that can be expensive or that you don't want to waste. It's good to go ahead and kind of make a plan to start off with and write your ideas down on paper before you actually start. That way it gives you you're further along when you actually begin to use the materials. And I tried different ideas. I knew I was going to do a profile, which is a side view, but I didn't know if I wanted to do a person or an animal. And so I went through and sketched out, here's like an alligator from the side, a dog, an elephant, a fish, and then what I settled on was my first idea, and that is to do like a self-portrait. So this was supposed to be kind of a version of me, a picture of me from the side, and I just wanted to make one moving part, which was the mouth. And so this is just my preliminary sketch, just my putting my ideas down on paper, just kind of a plan. The next thing was to take the cardstock and go ahead and draw out my design on the paper, and to figure out how to make the working part, the mouth, work. And I wanted to keep it fairly simple, which is good with most things. Try to keep it where it'll operate simply and it's not hard to use. And so what I did was to go ahead and draw the profile out. Now when I got to the mouth, I wanted to make it look like I was smiling, so I made a curve up, and then I made a line straight down in the back, and then I went basically to my neck, or right here's, this is supposed to be my tie sticking out, and so I drew that outline. And then what I decided was I wanted the mouth, it's going to have to overlap this backside so you don't see the backside, so I needed to make this part of the mouth that's moving larger. and then it would just be a normal profile. So that's why I did this. I sketched out the inside, and then what I did was so I would keep the same curve and everything, I just made it go out past the front about how far I'd like it to actually stick out past the back. And then I drew the rest of the front of the profile the way I was going to at the beginning. Make my chin down here at the bottom. And that way it's just using the one piece of paper, and it's going to, things will line up better. And so I just kept that all as part of the same thing. So if you draw an outline of yourself or someone else, go ahead and draw like where the hair begins. You come in, I have glasses, so that's why I have this rectangle kind of shape here in the front. You might just curve back for where the eye is, and then go out to the nose, and then the upper lip. Make a curve for your smile, or frown, I guess, if you're a grumpy character. And then line straight down, and then kind of continue the neck and the front of your body here. And then back side, just the back of your head, and back down the neck, and back down your back. Then you would draw the jaw out separately. And then, after you have everything drawn, the next step is to cut it out. And you'll have two pieces then. Here's the jaw piece. And it'll be separate. This is the moving part. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten these two together, and I want it to line up so that the chin goes in the right place and the mouth connects in line with the top part of the mouth. And I'm going to use the brass fastener, and I'll put it through the corner here. Now, I didn't poke a hole with anything else other than the brass fastener. This kind of cardstock, it might be a little bit hard to do this. You might want to get an adult to help you with this part. You don't want to go too close to the edge, though. If you don't want it to rip out on you, so you want to come in a little ways from the corner, and that's where you'll go through. You could also use a hole punch there. The only thing with the hole punch is you want to make sure that the hole is going to be smaller than the end on your brass fastener, otherwise it'll just pull right off. If you use, I'm just using a small brass fastener so it doesn't take up too much room as well. So I'm going to poke it through there, and then also it's best to actually line up the two pieces. Then you might poke through one and then line up the two where you want them to be, and then you put it back through that first one and poke through the second one. So it goes all the way through. Okay, after you've got that, then you can go ahead on the back and you spread the pieces on the brass fastener, and you want to turn it so that they don't show up when you move the mouth. You don't want it to be seen out the side of the mouth. In fact, you could go ahead and tape that down. I'm going to use just a piece of clear tape to tape that down so it doesn't move. The thing is, you do not want it to be seen through the screen, so I wouldn't use something that's going to stand out and you'll be able to see through the screen. So there, I taped it down, and then I need to attach two sticks, one for the support and one to move the mouth. Okay, so I'll start with the support. Just take a piece 2 or 3 inches long of masking tape. I want to put the support up closer to the top, not all the way at the top, but down a couple inches from the top, so both the tape will fit, and then also that's going to be a pressure point where you hold that against the screen. So if you hold it down too low, then it won't keep the top of the puppet against the screen. So you want to have it up closer to the top, about 2 or 3 inches from the top. Put half of the tape on the stick and half on the puppet. After it's there, I fold this back up, and then I'm going to get another piece of masking tape, and I'm going to tape the other side. And that way you have a support that is flexible. And I need a longer piece than that. Probably about 3 inches long. Half on top on the stick and half on the puppet. Okay, and that's my support, and so that'll be used to press that against the screen, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Then I use my second stick here is going to be used to press the or open and close the mouth. Same kind of process. Now maybe a slightly smaller piece of tape just because you don't have as much room to work with here. This is where I could use that other piece. Let's see. I put it right on there. Same process. I'm going to lift it up and I'll tape the other part down. The other side. So some on the stick and some on the puppet. Okay, and then I have the part that will move the mouth. Like this. So this will press against the top, and then this one will move the mouth. And let me show you how you use that on your screen. Okay, here's my puppet screen. This is on the inside of the box. And so what I will do is for this puppet I made it go down to the bottom edge, and then I'm taking the top stick and I press against the screen, and then I use my other hand to move the mouth. And what I did was to switch hands here. So I use the right hand to control it, but that's going to be up to you as far as how comfortable that is to operate. And that's our project for today. Making a profile shadow puppet. For more puppet fun, work with another person and have your characters talk to each other or sing or write a story and then make puppets to tell that story. Well, thank you for coming to art class, and I'll see you next time.
Goodbye, Mr. Mayberry.
I'm telling you, there's gonna be 6 more weeks of winter.